G'day everyone, Duckville here. We're going to have a look at a game from the EU server. This is going to be a bit of fun. This is another game from the LiquidHaypro replay pack. We've got him starting over on the top right hand side of Shakura's Plateau. It is a very warm day down here in Melbourne. It's something like 33 degrees or something along those lines. That's in Celsius. For you guys in Fahrenheit, I think that's like 120 in Fahrenheit or something like that. I don't know. All I know is it's warm in my room and it's I've got no aircon, so this is going to be interesting to do. But we'll give it a go anyway, and either way, if I ended up a roasted duck, you'll know exactly what has happened. But our opponent for HAVREFRAS is going to be starting over on the top left-hand side of the map. It is HAVREFRAS. HAVREFRAS. I'm going to call him Havre. I believe it's Swedish. HAVREFRAS was not able to identify this player. I did get a message through to HAVREFRAS to say, who is this dude, because I've never heard of him before. Thanks to Aries Effort from Team Liquid for just passing on the message, who is this guy. HAVREFRAS wasn't actually sure, but I had a quick look. From what I understand, you Swedish dudes can help me out, dudes and dudettes. I don't know if I think it's something like I get like 15% female viewers on YouTube. I don't know what's up with that. That's really weird. But anyway, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I understand HAVREFRAS is a type of cereal, a Swedish cereal? I don't know, man. But Havre apparently means oats, I think. Again, I'm just guessing at all of this. Unfortunately, I'm doing this right at the time when all of you guys over in Europe, in all the various parts of Europe, are asleep at the time, because it's something like 2 a.m. for you guys or something like that as I'm casting this. But either way, we'll call him Havre and we'll just go along with that. But meanwhile, in terms of the actual game starting out here, HAVREFRAS with that quick expansion, gonna get that up, and then he's droning up quite a lot. He's actually jumped up to 17 drones. He's not gonna go for the quick pull, but here it is, finally getting that down. And he's going to know that his opponent, he did get a little bit of a read of what's going on here. Can see that there was the racks going down, and in fact a quick tech lab there as well, and it looks as if it will be a Reaper opening from HAVREFRAS. He's going to head out with that Reaper and try and do some damage and get a little bit of scouting off as well, no doubt about that. And we could even see, have a look at this SCV is just hanging around the back here. No Overlord to scout for HAVREFRAS. He's actually just got the Overlord just off to the side, sort of covering this standard position where you would get a bunker, and unfortunately the bunker is being placed off to the right, just behind the mineral line. If this gets up, there could be trouble afoot for HAVREFRAS because he actually has, where is the Reaper? There it is. Alright, the Reaper finally pops out. He's actually going to run into the drone on the way down, but the drone is not going to be able to do too much to that Reaper, but the Reaper comes back, takes some shots, and takes him down. One drone down, that's better than nothing at all, and we'll see if HAVREFRAS is going to be able to defend this. There are a couple more drones coming down. In fact, a very large group of drones coming down to the natural here, going to require some outstanding micro here from HAVREFRAS if he's going to take this down. One of the bunkers already complete, a second bunker now being constructed over here just off to the side, so we're going to have two bunkers very, very soon. Some links have finally popped out. The Reaper now coming along. It looks as if we'll have to see if HAVREFRAS is able to keep the bunker blocked. If he can keep the Reaper out of there, I don't think this Reaper is going to get anything done, especially considering these lings, if they're on the ground, are very, very quick to get around. And in fact, the drone's now coming around to try and actually block off the top. Now the ling's coming down to the southern side, blocking off the bunker there, and the bunker has been destroyed. Second bunker is still in sort of in position here, but the Reaper is probably not going to be able to get in. The Queen gets a few shots on that guy, and with one kill, this Reaper has not actually done too much at all. Perhaps going to head inside the main base, but the Queen comes out, and that Reaper is going... No, he's not. Escapes on 2 HP. Fantastic job there by HAVREFRAS to defend against that. Takes out both of the bunkers that were placed behind the mineral line, suffering effectively no casualties. He's lost a scouting drone. One drone has gone down, and that is it. So that was actually really well played there by HAVREFRAS. So he's done a good job of defending against that. Meanwhile, back at home, HAVREFRAS has picked up another couple of racks. He's got 5 coming up in total. He's already got that tech lab churning away at the combat shields, of course. No stim just yet. Just sort of signaling that he is not going to go for any sort of timing at the initial part of this game. but that's actually quite a lot of racks for this sort of opening period here, and a little bit surprising that he has not actually poked out with these Marines. And okay, he's going to poke out just a little bit here and try and see what is going on. But HAVREFRAS, meanwhile, back at home, is just having a look at droning up quite a bit. We've currently got 34 drones out for him. No extras on the way just yet, but he's just making sure that he's not getting supply blocked. An Overlord pops out, and a third hatchery goes down. This is going to help block out any possible run-bys from Hellions, and of course provide a little bit of extra larvae coming through. So HAVREFRAS doing a great job at the start of the game. 6 more drones coming through as well, and gas now being picked up as well. So he's going to head up to the 4 gas, and we'll see exactly what tech he's going to go for here. It's a little bit dependent on what he spends his next amount of like some of the first big batches of gas on. He's already got Ling speed, so the Lings are already out and trying to do a little bit of map control here. He's going to run around, and as we can see here, I have mentioned this in a previous game, HAVREFRAS does a really good job of scouting, in fact proving me wrong as soon as I say that, but he's going to get those Lings out around the map and just try and poke around. But some Marines now pushing across with combat shields will take no damage at all from those Lings when they try and push through. In fact, yeah, basically nothing was done, just a lowly 10 damage done to that one Marine, and that is it. But now it looks as if HAVREFRAS is going to have to deal with a big Marine force now pushing through. We got a total of 15 Marines just over here now pushing in. The drones are going to have to come out to play because there are so many Marines here and not too many Lings, but the Lings now streaming through, the drones just coming across trying to get a good surround on these Marines. If they can do that, then he should be able to clean this up quite easily. The Marines still trying to maneuver themselves around, but they have been surrounded by the drones. Drones now retreating. You don't want to lose too many of those at the start of the game like this, but the Lings have come to the safety of these queens. Have a look at the micro from HAVREFRAS pulling away that one queen with 8 HP. The other 2 are very low as well, as we can see there. Those guys are as red as a fire truck there, but now is heading them back to base, going to get those injects going again, and a lot more Lings are now streaming across towards the base of HAVREFRAS. He's got a few Marines here to defend, so he's not in any trouble. An engineering bay finishing off that wall, not a full wall, keep in mind, because there is this little bit of a pathway here for some of the Marines to get out, but HAVREFRAS looks to be okay for the time being. But now teching up, let's have a look at what we've got. Nothing too fancy coming along from HAVREFRAS. It's just got the standard sorts of things. We've got siege tanks and siege mode on the way. +1 to infantry weapons is also coming through as well. And just a whole bunch of Marines now coming out from HAVREFRAS. Not bothering with the reactors just yet. Now, that's a key thing to keep in mind is when you're looking at a Terran playing like this, is that you don't have to get your reactors, your tech labs, all those sorts of things straight away unless you're aiming for some specific timing. So he hasn't gotten those yet because of course that means that's actually a lot more production coming out from the Terran base, which means he needs to have his mineral lines fully saturated so he can continually produce. Otherwise it's a little bit of a waste to do that sort of thing. But we will see what's going to go down with that. But meanwhile, just back at HAVREFRAS' side of the map, looks as if a drop now coming through, double drop full of Marines. These guys have not got stim just yet. In fact, stim is not even on the way. In fact, yes it is. It's around about a third of the way down. Baneling's going to come across to try and defend against this, and they will roll through that, picking up all of those, picking up all but two of those Marines, and it looks as if the medevac should be okay to escape. One of them just a little bit low on HP, and the Queen trying to snipe away at that medevac, but not getting the job done. But nice little attack, but not really getting too much done. If we have a quick look at the worker kills, we've got 12 in total for HAVREFRAS. I'm pretty sure that most of those came at the initial part of the game with that first push from that big batch of Marines that went across, but HAVREFRAS still sitting in a very nice position, droning up and got mutas on the way. Currently at 51 drones to 50 of HAVREFRAS. He's going to have to contend with quite a lot of these mutalisks now popping out. We've got a total of 7 on the map, 3 more on the way. So he will bring it to a total of 10 in just a minute, but it looks as if another push is now coming across from HAVREFRAS. He's got a couple of tanks and some Marines and a couple of medevacs, which are really going to help out. Good that he actually kept those 2 that went for the drop alive, because now that is really going to help with this push, because it looks as if HAVREFRAS is going to have to be very prepared for this, because he's now got these mutalisks out on the map just scouting around, trying to find if there are any stray units caught out in the middle. If he can catch some, perhaps a couple of these Marines, that'll be quite nice, although it's a little bit scary engaging Marines like this, and now with stim just about to complete, these guys will be doing quite a lot of damage. And now just a little check coming across to the third base, and it looks as if HAVREFRAS is going to try and push into that third, sieging up the tanks at a little bit of a further distance just to make sure that everything is covered. covered. Only a few of the Marines pushing inside of the third to try and take that out. Keep in mind they do have +1, so they do quite a lot of damage, but now coming through is a defensive push from HAVREFRAS. Going to take out the tanks. It looks like he should be able to clean those up. Yes, he does. The Mutas now popping in to say hello and dropping down all of those Marines. Only a few of them left with these medevacs, and the medevacs, he's going to have to get them out of there because he needs those later on in the game, but I don't think they're going to get too far. These Mutalists should be able to chase them down and take care of them as like an easy breakfast. In fact, they do. One left, he's going to try and get that one out of there, but I don't think that has got too far to go, and that is that push all done. So HAVREFRAS now able to probably expand, in fact possibly going to look to take a possibly even the fourth base, I would say. That is a little bit more of HAVREFRAS style, lovely macro builds that he does with lots of drones, lots of bases, all those sorts of things, and a few Marines trying to defend here against this the decently sized Mutaflock. It's not a huge amount, but slowly pulling down some of those Mutas there. Got to be a little bit more careful with those HAVREFRAS, but he's doing a good job just keeping the Terran inside his base, and we'll have a look at what HAVREFRAS is up to. He's got 2 factories going. Do love the double factory, helping out with the tank production. We've now got reactors on a couple of these barracks here. A third command center is up and running, switched into an orbital, along with a lot of turrets coming along here as well. So he's making sure that he is going to be defended against those Mutalists. We've got 1 turret in the mineral line, a second one just coming up now, and the armory is also about to complete as well, which is going to allow HAVREFRAS to get started on the +2 to the weapons and armor for the infantry. So that's going to be quite nice. And we'll see how he progresses with this. It looks as if he's going to try and take this third base here. The Mutaflock getting larger and larger with each passing moment. There is another one also on the way, along with +2 to the air attacks here. We can see these guys doing 10 damage on that first bounce, and then slowly cutting down after that, but it's still quite a lot of damage here, taking out some of these Marines. These tanks perhaps in a little bit of a bad position. HAVREFRAS is going to need to pull them back quick smart, because these guys are going to get absolutely destroyed by the Mutalists here. And in fact, the Mutas still just going to town on this base here, picking off mules, SCVs, all sorts of things there. That is quite easy for them to do. HAVREFRAS, meanwhile, back at base, still droning up quite nicely. He's at 59, a little bit behind the Terran, but what he is about to do is take this fourth base with quite a nice timing there, keeping HAVREFRAS inside his base. And now it's possible that he will be able to gain a little bit of a drone lead. I'm thinking that he could sit back just for a little bit and pump out a few more drones. He's a little bit behind where HAVREFRAS normally is, but have a look at that creep spread. Absolutely fantastic stuff. He's down to this side of the map already halfway through the map as well, and we are only 17 minutes into the game. I suppose that's actually a pretty good sort of reach there on that creep. But meanwhile, it looks as if HAVREFRAS, there he is. He's certainly droning up. 13 just about to pop out, and there they go, just to transfer over to some of the other bases there. That's them right there, and he's going to get them into action. That's going to really help. But meanwhile, in the middle of the map, looks as if we've got some Banelings grabbing some beautiful hits on those Marines, downsizing the Marine army quite a bit. Unfortunately for HAVREFRAS, there is still a huge amount of Marines on the map. We've currently got a total of 38 Marines. Keep in mind, these guys do have 1-1 on their upgrades, so they will be doing quite a lot of damage. And it looks as if HAVREFRAS trying to pick off some of the units that he can, gets a medevac, and then the Mutalists actually flying into the group of Marines. Not a good job at all, but he's going to try and defend against this. Meanwhile, HAVREFRAS is trying to get this third base up and running. If he can get that up, he'll be in a really good position, start cranking out some of those tanks, some of the Marines, and get himself into a nice position in this game. But spreading out those Marines, beautiful job there from HAVREFRAS. However, unfortunately at the back, the tanks were actually exposed to the Mutas, and now the Mutas have cleaned up those, and the Lings and Banelings are free to walk through the middle there and take out all of those units on the ground. And now a Mighty Thor does come along, but I'm not sure if that's the best place for this guy to be. We'll see if HAVREFRAS tries to box it. I don't think he will. There's actually these Mutas getting a little bit low on HP, but just having a look at the economies for both of these players. HAVREFRAS now switching into 75 drones, sitting in a nice position on around about 2,000 mineral income and about 700 gas, so that's actually quite nice for him. He's got all of these, we're going to have probably 8 guys in total in operation. Yeah, he's going for the 7 and 8 right now. That'll mean that he can get that hive tech started and get into the really fun part of the game for a Zerg, when you start switching into those hive tech units and start to get crazy crazy with that. Let's just have a look at how many Mutalisks there are on the map. 23 in total. That's a decent amount, not a game sort of a game-winning amount, you would say. But it's certainly a lot to keep Havre on his toes, and we'll see how this is going to go. In fact, those toes will be tested, trying to come through and take out one of the turrets. Gets one. There is a second and a Thor there as well, so he's not going to have a fun time there, but it looks as if HAVREFRAS is a little bit more concerned with the main base here, taking out turrets 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now a fifth one under threat. He's going to try and get that done as soon as he can. Now Marines streaming back inside. There's only a few Marines here, not going to get too much damage done, but meanwhile down at the southern right side, we've got HAVREFRAS getting a drop on his fourth base here. That is not going to be good at all. Meanwhile, in the middle, another attack coming in from HAVREFRAS, just trying to defend against this really big bio force that was pushing through. So many Marines in the mix here, but now all the tanks are dead. There is no way for him to deal with this, with the Ling Baneling group that is threatening in the middle, but the problem is actually being down here at the southern side. He's actually lost quite a few drones here. The 2-2 on those Marines really kicking in and giving them quite a lot of damage. Nice positioning there, not too bad, giving those Marines a lot lower surface area, which means that they were able to take care of a lot more of the Lings than they should have been able to. But HAVREFRAS now finally cleaning up, putting down some of those medevacs, and now the drones will return home to work. So we'll see what HAVREFRAS is going to do. He does need to try and get some of this creep spread up and running again. As you can see, he's lost quite a lot of this creep in the middle here. Going to try and reseed those tumors again and put them down and get the creep spread started. 4 on the way, but now Ling Baneling now pushing into the third base of HAVREFRAS. He's going to lose perhaps a tank here. Some of the tanks actually getting good shots on those Banelings, but now the Lings streaming inside the mineral line. We're able to get some of the Lings down, not to mention the friendly fire of the siege tanks, getting some really big damage done on those Marines. Look at those guys. Some of them are in the red. That is not good for them at all. But the looks as if we're going to have a command center built in this this little position here. Nice little scenic view across at the river or whatever that is. I have no idea what that is. But it looks as if HAVREFRAS is going to have to deal with another push coming through the middle here. We've got a scan going off from HAVREFRAS, just picking up that there are some Banelings being morphed in here. Going to try and take out some of these tumors if he can, but takes out a lot of those Marines with a Baneling landmine, I believe that was, and now trying to counter in. He needs to get these tanks down if he wants to succeed in pushing through this force. There are a lot of Marines, and they're decently spread out here from HAVREFRAS. He's been doing a very nice job actually pushing across and splitting up those Marines, but he's going to have to contend with now 4 infestors that are out. They have got enough energy for fungal growth. We'll see if the fungal growth is put in a beautiful position, and if it is, we can expect some Baneling fireworks to come out from HAVREFRAS. And here we go. It looks as if he's about to go in, dropping down an infested Terran beach ball to take a tank of take a shot of a siege tank. Meanwhile, fungal growth's going on down the back. The Banelings rolling through, taking out some of the tanks. The Marines have been pretty much annihilated there. Unfortunately for HAVREFRAS, there's still a few at the back, along with a stray Viking. I'm not sure how that got out there, but one Viking now coming across. In fact, a second as well. Looks as if HAVREFRAS is trying to get prepared in case the Broodlords are on the way. We'll have a quick look at the tech in just a moment here, and as we can see here, we've got really nice saturation from HAVREFRAS on all of his bases, obviously the ones that are still able to be mined, but the hive tech is also done. We're still waiting to see if the Great Aspire is going to come up from HAVREFRAS, but he's busy defending in the middle here. Looks as if the Lings were able to get some good hits on those Marines, taking some of them down. Mutalisk count has been absolutely devastated here, down to 4, and we'll see how HAVREFRAS is going to switch now. I would really love him to see really love to see him switch into a little bit of a higher tech. He does have those infestors out, which of course are going to do a really nice amount of damage against the big groups of Marines that HAVREFRAS has been favoring. But now with the 4th base of HAVREFRAS getting established here, and with a lot more mineral income coming along, we're going to see if HAVREFRAS is going to be able to deal with this very threatening Terran here. I think, I don't know if I mentioned before, but HAVREFRAS, he's a high Masters player. I think when I checked, he was top of his division over on the EU server, so he's definitely no slouch when it comes to playing this old game we love. But Ling's now streaming inside, not getting too much damage done. The Planetary Fortress doing its customary 63 billion damage that it somehow does. And 5 Lings actually escaping for HAVREFRAS. This is going to be a very unfortunate surprise for HAVREFRAS if the Banelings can get inside. I'm actually just a little bit concerned as to if they will be able to get past the Planetary Fortress, but here they come. HAVREFRAS noticing, pulling back the SCVs, doing a little bit of a dance around that planetary fortress, and no damage was done at all to those SCVs. A couple are quite low on HP, but this is given HAVREFRAS a little bit of time. What he's going to do is get some more banelings up and running. We've got +3 to melee attacks on the way. A lot of infestors out, and now the Greater Spire is finally starting to get morphed in. Around about a third done here for HAVREFRAS, but he's trying to get this 5th base up, and if he can get that, he'll put himself in a nice spot. But just a little bit worried about how HAVREFRAS is pushing through the middle. Huge fungal growth on this massive group of Marines in the middle there. HAVREFRAS just throwing away a huge batch of units there, and that is not going to favor him at all. HAVREFRAS now with this very, very heavy infestor style. We're currently looking at 16 infestors on the map. In fact, this army is mostly comprised of infestors. There are 16 of them to the very large amount of lings that are out, but now a lot of those getting dispatched by the tanks and the Marines, but infested Terrans are going to do their worst as well, putting down some of these flying units that are here. Beautiful fungal growth going down, capturing them in their position like a Pokemon, and then the infested Terrans taking care of all of those units up in the sky. So HAVREFRAS has just lost a massive position on the map there. He had a huge amount of Marines and a lot of air superiority there, and then unfortunately falling down, losing a lot of those Vikings, and now he's going to have to contend. I think we'll probably see a Broodlord switch very soon from HAVREFRAS, if not very imminently. But HAVREFRAS with the supply lead, he's currently up at 162 supply, 133 for HAVREFRAS. He's sitting out in the middle with a big group of Marines, unfortunately stimming them up, actually grouping them together, leaving them vulnerable to the fungal growth, and a lot of these guys are going to start falling down to that. HAVREFRAS doing a great job. He needs to be a little bit more careful. Love to see the infestors go one at a time, perhaps just to limit the amount of exposure on all of these guys. Losing a lot of those there, but now we can see that he is actually going to start those Broodlords up. Here they come. We've got 5 on the way. Of course, the Infestor Broodlord, just a massively dangerous combo to come out from a Zerg. If you have to contend with that, you're going to need a lot of Ghosts. You're going to need a lot of really nice control if you're going to go for Vikings, that sort of thing. As we have seen in the very high level, of course, over in GSL, that sort of thing. You need to be able to spread the Vikings like almost in a perfect arc to make sure that they're not stacking on each other, because fungal growth just absolutely will annihilate them, and then you will have nothing to do with these very powerful air units. So just look at the upgrades here. We've got these Broodlords at +2 to their Broodling Strike, and of course +2 to the armor as well, so they're going to take a little bit less damage there. The Lings, meanwhile, have +3 to their armor and the melee attack, so they're going to be doing quite a lot of damage when they can get in range of the various Terran units. No adrenal glands just yet from HAVREFRAS, so keeping that in mind, that the attacks of the Lings won't be a huge amount. But just down to the southern side, we've got the 5th base of HAVREFRAS is up and running. It looks as if a drop now coming through the middle here. While that's going on, the Broodlings trying to push, the Broodlords trying to push through the middle here. Broodlings having fun just randomly dropping in on some of these Terran units. And here they come, going to try and get in a little bit further and take down some of these Marines so that the Infestors can get inside and get some damage done. But now, beautiful fungal growth on top of those Vikings. They're capturing all of them, and this could be a little bit dangerous here for HAVREFRAS. He's actually got quite a lot of damage going into those Broodlords. That's actually really nice. But now, just off to the southern side, another attack pushing through, taking out Spine Crawlers here. We'll see if HAVREFRAS is able to get some damage done. This one extra Spine Crawler may provide a little bit of time for HAVREFRAS to get some of his forces back to defend. But what he's mainly doing at the moment is just focusing on trying to really just downsize some of this army here. But what has actually happened, unfortunately for HAVREFRAS, is that he has lost quite a lot of his own units. But now, with the attack done, losing only a few, I think only a few drones were lost there. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens on the harvesters. We got 65 for HAVREFRAS, so he is mining nicely up at this base. The gas is a big key thing for him. Of course, it takes quite a lot of gas to get the Broodlords and the Infestors up and running. Not to mention, wow, sticking with the upgrades for these air units here. Looks as if we'll see HAVREFRAS stick to the very large air force combination here, and it looks as if he's trying to get a run by here with these Lings, trying to push inside this base again. Planetary fortress here, but not one down to the southern side, and these Lings are going to get inside. A couple of them hiding off to the corner there, trying to see perhaps if he can get some damage done later on. But the SCVs not actually worried about this, just continuing to work. But the Marines have finally come in and we'll see if those guys are able to defend, and they are indeed. I'm a little bit worried about this though. What's going to happen here with all of these guys, and HAVREFRAS is going to have to be very, very careful with what he does with this attack. Looks as if the Lings have caught that. They're going to be able to catch up with those Marines, get some damage done, picking up only 2 of those Marines. One of them is extremely low on HP, and a fungal growth and a couple of infested Terrans will be able to take care of this leftover medevac, and that is probably going to be the end of that attack from Havre. Now he's doing a good job with his economy. He's keeping everything nice and tight there. He's on 50 SCVs at the moment. Of course, we're currently sitting on a total of I believe it's 4 orbital commands. No, he's actually lost this one that was up here. He had to move that around. So it's 3 orbital commands for Havre, and now he's starting to push through. Going to need to keep a nice spread on these units here. 4 more Broodlords on the way. That's going to take the total to, looks to be around about, how many is that? We're going to have 9 Broodlords in total. There are nice spreads here again from Havre. Want to see him start to clear out some of this creep. He needs to establish some of this position here so that he doesn't get run over by the Speedlings. But the problem he's going to have are these Broodlords, and how is he going to deal with those? They're hanging off over the cliff here. Some nice fungal growth should be able to take care of these Vikings. In fact, catching 3 of them with the fungal growth there. Nice job by HAVREFRAS. Going to be able to take down some of these, but there's no way for him to actually deal with these apart from the fungal growth. There's no other. Normally you would see a couple of Corruptors in the mix just to get a little bit of damage done, but it looks as if they are going to be taken out with a couple of leftover infested Terrans dealing with those, and now the Broodlords are just trying to get back into the battle here, and now Havre slowly moving up, leapfrogging these tanks just a little bit further. The Lings have decided it's go time, pushing across with some of the Lings, not all of them. Not sure if that was deliberate by HAVREFRAS or not, but he is just pushing some of them through. They're doing quite a lot of damage here. The Marines have been absolutely annihilated there by those big groups of Lings, fungal growth, and of course the Broodlords up in the air as well. And now the second group pushing through here. The Thors are in trouble. Gonna lose 1, gonna lose 2. There it goes. And the siege tanks are all done. That is it for Havre. He has actually lost all of those units there in the middle, and that is quite unfortunate for him. His only advantage just at the moment are these Vikings up in the sky, and we'll see if they are able to provide him with a good amount of defense, but I don't think they're going to be able to do much against these very quick Lings, which are now pushing across the map. Unfortunately for Havre, just noticing that he actually has no real defenses inside here apart from the SCVs. Have a look at these guys, +2 armor, only losing a few of these SCVs. That is absolutely... Okay, change my mind. He's actually lost a lot of them. Good work there by HAVREFRAS. He's been able to hack down some of those SCVs, and Baneley's coming in to finish off the rest of them. In fact, not going to actually detonate those. Going to keep those for later. Going to roll up perhaps to this edge here, and if Havre is not careful, he could have a Baneley landmine for his present once he marches up here. HAVREFRAS catching one of the Banelings actually caught by the turret just off to the side, but looks as if Havre has established this position yet again. Going to drop down a couple of mules and get some more SCVs going. Waiting for this to explode, because this could be absolutely huge if HAVREFRAS is able to get some of these Marines down. Here they come. It looks as if, will we see this go off again? No, we're not, because they're just a little bit out of range, just slightly off to the wrong position. And now, will it go again? No. HAVREFRAS just teasing us all there. He's got his... He's got a troll face on right now. I tell you what, that's what he's doing right now. But HAVREFRAS is a little bit more worried about his macro at the time being. It looks as if we've got one medevac looking in to do a bit of a drop, and not really sure what this is going to do though, because there is actually no units in there. Perhaps a dummy drop. That could be quite clever there from Havre. In fact, it has actually worked. He's drawn away all of the Zerg units here with that one medevac that was just going through the top side of the map, and now these guys are free to push in and take out some of these drones. We'll see how many they're able to get. One spine crawler trying to defend there, but it's not enough to defend against these 3, I believe they're 2-3 Marines. Yeah, 2-3 Marines of the Lings coming back finally saying, oh my god, the attack was on this side, not the other side. But HAVREFRAS is sitting in such a really nice position right now on 56 drones. He's got this base up the top established with the gas mining quite nicely, and now we'll see if these Banelings are going to actually have some fun up here, or if they're just going to sit there like just some unfortunately the idle workers. But now, wow, these Lings just streaming around trying to catch up with these Marines, catching them on the low ground there. The Marines going down quite swiftly. We'll see if the Adrenal Glands has been upgraded. Yes, it has. And upgrades all over the place for HAVREFRAS. He's doing a fantastic job with that. But some Lings now trying to stream inside this this fifth base of HAVREFRAS, catching out some of the Marines, and the Banelings finally coming into town and dropping in on those Marines and exploding half of them. And then the Lings trying to get inside, getting rid of some of these SCVs and the mules that were mining here. But I think that could be a very unfortunate position for HAVREFRAS, starting to lose mining at this base here, losing some of those Marines, losing some of the Marines and the SCVs, and I think that could be it. He's having a little bit of a joke here. I'm not sure if he's just a bit worried about what's going to happen now or not, but a couple of these Marines now pushing out. It looks as if they're just going to try and attack into HAVREFRAS, but there's really not too much he can do here. There is a massive amount of Lings out on the map. I think we can call that a swarm of Lings, like the fever of Broodlords, but there are 84, sort of around the 80 mark of these of the Lings. They're now just getting all over the map here. HAVREFRAS burrowing a couple of them just off to the side, and a few more trying to do some damage just up the top here. We'll see if these guys are able to get some damage done. Just burrowing in all sorts of places here. Very nicely done there by HAVREFRAS, just keeping HAVREFRAS on his toes despite having all of these Marines around. He's still having to scan all over the place. He's still having to march around, and even after all of that, a couple of Banelings still survive. So we are probably going to see a final push from HAVREFRAS, I should say, very soon. The medevac, one random medevac being caught out here by the fungal growth and a couple of infested Terrans. And the base still attempting to mine here is HAVREFRAS, leaving a few Marines to try and help out with the defenses at this base, considering this seems to be the main point of attack. And, you know, why else would you attack in any other position? Everything else is mined out. HAVREFRAS is sitting on just this base, and if you can keep that from mining, you're in a fantastic spot. And speaking of fantastic spots, these 2-2 Broodlords about to sweep across the map. Looks as if HAVREFRAS is trying to push across the top side here, but I believe that was actually spotted by HAVREFRAS. And now with the rocks under siege, these units are going to have to be very careful for HAVREFRAS when they try and push across. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to just barrel straight through down the ramp and just try and remove all of this stuff, but we'll see what happens. The Broodlords now coming along should be able to help the massive amount of infestors out. We got 20 infestors on the map, quite a lot there for HAVREFRAS, but the Broodlords throwing down some of those Broodlings. We're going to have some fungal growth, no doubt, in a second. Missing the fungal growth, unfortunately, HAVREFRAS there, but he does put down a couple of infested Terrans, which should be able to help against the Vikings, but he's just going to be able to roll all over this as long as he plays it out carefully. You don't want to just bulldog your way straight through this kind of position here for a Terran. We got siege tanks down the bottom firing away at some of those Lings that are trying to push through, and then we've got only these infestors now left for HAVREFRAS. Luckily for him, they've got fungal growth and they're putting down some beautiful hits with that, so he is able to keep this position for the time being. And another 84, 86, maybe some more, I don't know. I'm like Dr. Seuss right here. We got 86 Lings now being constructed by HAVREFRAS, along with 5 Broodlords, so he's going to have a huge amount of units about to stream out here, and he's going to be able to perhaps, I would love to see him perhaps push through this side here. If he can get some damage on this side as well as streaming through the top, that's probably the best way to attack into a Terran if they're sieged up and holding a position like this, is to just try and just stream across just try and flank them from multiple sides. But looks as if HAVREFRAS is going to try and get another counter attack down at this 5th base here. This is not going to be lasting too long. We can see that the Lings are just actually going to hang out down to the side here. The Marines are probably going to get absolutely slaughtered there, but the SCVs coming to the rescue, providing a little bit of extra damage there for HAVREFRAS. Mining out the rest of this base though, that's the one problem he is going to have. Going to need to try and get another base started. A Thor up the top here, laying down siege from afar. The Lings pushing through, getting a little bit of damage done. Some nice fungal growths there for HAVREFRAS, able to slaughter some of those Marines. And now Broodlords, there he is, beautiful, pushing in from the side. He's going to be able to push across and put in some attacks on the side here, which is going to just absolutely annihilate these Marines when those Broodlings draw the fire of the tanks. And as we can see, in fact, even infested Terran eggs now drawing some fire there, unsieging, because he knows that there is so much damage going on to his own units. And now HAVREFRAS, this is like a game of tennis, just trying to throw the ball over the net here. But a GG well played from HAVREFRAS. GG well played. Would you agree that I had a pretty substantial lead that he threw away? HAVREFRAS, good guy HAVREFRAS, saying the GG, and we both did. But great game from these guys here. We could see that HAVREFRAS doing a fantastic job with his macro there, and just taking the game after a very big Infest the Broodlord combo late in the game, and a lot of harassment on HAVREFRAS. But we obviously can concede that HAVREFRAS had a big loss here in the middle when he lost a lot of Marines to a big fungal growth and a couple of Banelings, along with some extra units that got lost in some of these various attacks. So great game there by both of these players. Good to see a Shakuras game that goes almost all the way. We're almost completely mined out apart from these bases here. But great to see. So I hope you guys enjoyed that game. Make sure you leave some feedback. If you're Swedish, let me know how badly I was pronouncing that, or that I got the actual translation of that completely wrong. It's all in good fun. But I hope you guys join me for the next game, which will be coming up very soon. I believe it's going to be a PVT on Antigua Shipyards. We'll catch you in that one. Cheers.